You're listening to The Gorge. This is a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a game or game-related product every week. Today we are analyzing Tales of Symphonia for the GameCube, PS2, PS3, and, unfortunately, the PC.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it was such a disaster. It was such a disaster.
It technically did come out for the PC.
It did, and I was just like, I literally had like a pause there. I was like, wait, the PC? Oh yeah! Oh yeah, that's right. That fucking happened.
It regrettably came out there.
Oh god.
Okay, I didn't want to start with that, but I did want to mention like the best anecdote ever about the PC version is just a screenshot of like a text box with misaligned font that if I remember right, just says sorry.
Oh, Namco Bandai, you're not sorry enough because you keep fucking up. Oh, you poor bat. Please just get Berseria, right. Yeah. Please just get Berseria right. That's all I'm asking right now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you and I are pretty big fans of Tales games.
Yes, we are.
Of the ones we've played, at least.
Which, I mean...
Roughly half of them.
There's 13 Mothership titles right now, but a handful of them were never released in English.
Yeah, and some of them that were are like I tried playing Fantasia on the GBA, and it handles awful.
Really, man?
Yeah.
I heard the best version of Fantasia is the PSP version, which I don't think came out in America. I'd have to research that. But I've always wanted to play the early Tales games because obviously I'm a huge fan, and I love winning trivia contests.
Yes.
And I love winning trivia contests. I guess it's a good place to start. I mean, you know, but the people listening maybe don't know, but if you follow my Tumblr at all, you know. I am utterly obsessed with this series to a nearly dangerous degree. At AWA 20... It's either 2014 or 2013. I can't remember what. I was one of the Tales Trivia Contest winners. At one point, I answered a question so fast, I literally heard somebody in the audience go, whoa. And it was really funny. And I was just like, yeah, I really like these games. Because, they asked they were like, what game? Well, I guess, you know, what Tales game did they introduce the free run system in? Abyss, exactly, yeah. And I guess people don't think about that kind of thing, but I was like, Abyss! And then somebody went, whoa. And I was like, I really enjoy these games.
Yeah. And I think if I was thinking about this, and if I had to recommend a good, RPG out of the Tales ones, I would recommend Xillia.
Oh, man.
If someone wanted to get into the Tales series, I would recommend Symphonia.
Symphonia is the primary starter. It's the ultimate starter Tales game, really, because it has everything that a Tales game needs without kind of the refinements, so that as you go along in the series, you can appreciate the system refinements that come with the later series. And then you can also realize, man, Zestiria is just really, really disappointing in that regard.
Yeah.
Whoops. But we're not gonna shit talk Zestiria today.
No, we'll get to the later games. We're gonna kind of do an alternating schedule of Tales games of the 5 that we've played.
Right. Is it 5?
In order.
Yeah.
We're gonna do an alternating week thing for each Tales game. So we're gonna start with Symphonia today.
And then hopefully, what I really hope happens is, with all these other games coming out, I really, really hope that Christmas will fall at the same time as the Xillia 2 hate cast. So that, my Christmas present will be my Christmas present to myself will be me clearing the air about how much I fucking hate Xillia 2. You know?
Oh.
Which,
yes,
again,
that's...
I don't want to get into that, but...
I won't get into it right now, of course, but I will tell you right now I'm already taking notes.
Are you? I'm so glad. I can't even... I still want to do the LP of us getting drunk and hating on Exilia, because I, honest to God, do think I could shit talk this game for 24 hours. Because I mean, we played Exilia 1 and we loved it, and we were able to talk about it and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for 18 hours.
I think we can easily talk about how much we hate Xillia and also how much we love JoJo again.
Oh, absolutely.
For 20 hours.
And, but we're not going to do that today.
Yeah,
today we're talking about Tales of Symphonia, which is like the primo starter Tales game, because it's everything that's good and fun and pure, and it's just everything that makes Tales games good. You know?
It's the groundwork for all the future Tales games.
Exactly.
And it does everything. It doesn't do a lot of unique things, but does what it does really well.
I mean, and the funny thing is, I wanted to bring this up at the beginning. It's funny for a game that I love so much. And I mean, my God, I love Tales of Symphonia. I've only beaten it twice. And I hate fucking playing this game sometimes because I've been trying to slog through a replay on the PS3 version, because I do enjoy the PS3 version, but the problem is that I hate 85% of the dungeons in this game.
Yeah, okay, we can start. One of the biggest things about this game that I think it does not do well is the Sorcerer's Ring mechanic.
Oh God, is it not just a disaster? It's
not good in this game at all. There are like 3 instances where the gimmick is fun. The Electro one is fun, where you shoot the ball of electricity to stun robots. That's pretty fun.
That's pretty good, but it's in a terrible, terrible dungeon.
Yeah. The wind one is it's cool because you get that one room where you get to shoot the puzzles in different orders.
Oh yeah, okay.
And you get to get treasure chests that way.
Yeah, okay,
beyond that, none of the gimmicks, they just bog the game. Especially Meltokyo Sewers.
Oh God, I think I could... I really couldn't tell you which one I hate the most, because, I mean, I could tell you the one I hate the most.
No, Ymir Forest is the one you hate the most.
Of course, everybody hates Ymir Forest the most. But other than Ymir Forest, like, when you tell me, like, which which Symphonia dungeon do you hate that isn't Ymir, I'm always like, well, I hate this one, and I hate this one, and I hate this one. Oh, and I hate this one. Oh, and I forgot that I hate this one. And then I go back and I play the game, and I'm like, God, I hate so many of these dungeons. And I'm like, wait, I thought I liked this game, and I do. I love this game.
It's a really weird thing, because like the combat mechanics are really good, and like the overworld stuff is really good, and the going to towns are all really great, and it has such a great sense of direction, like progression wise. Like everything is in order, and you basically go in a big line, and everything makes sense and it flows. But the dungeons are, for the most part, just such a huge drag, and the biggest offenders are Ymir Forest, Meltokyo Sewers, and the Temple of Shadow.
Temple of Shadow, and then, let me think, the other one, I hate the Lightning Temple. It's not awful, you can figure it out, but it's just not fun.
It's easier in the GameCube version, because in the GameCube version, those rooms that are in darkness are not actually in darkness, and you can see where you're going.
PS3 version.
Yeah, in the PS2 and PS3 version, they darken the rooms to make it harder.
Yeah, they literally just turn the screen off, basically.
Yeah.
But like, I'm thinking, there's I hate Welgaia, or Welgia. I think it's Welgaia. I hate Welgaia. Yeah. I hate. Let me think.
There's not very good dungeons.
There really is not.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, cool.
I was talking about how
dungeons bad.
Yeah, the dungeons are
bad. Dungeon bad.
Not good. Which again, it really like, and it's weird because like the ones that I'm trying to think of the ones that are good, and like I know there are ones that I enjoyed playing, but I can't think of them.
The Light Temple isn't like the Tower of Mana, the light.
Oh, that one's pretty good. I like that one with the mirror gimmick. I really like the light reflecting gimmick in video games.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's not.
It's all the fun of sliding block puzzles without actually being a sliding block puzzle.
Exactly, and they're never too like. It's an easy kind of linear thinking thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's a good puzzle, because it's like, all you can go like, well, I need to get this thing from here to here by making these mirrors rotate, you know? It's a good, easy, not easy, but you can wrap your brain around it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, there's that, there's, like, the early temples are actually all pretty good. The water temple is good. The fire temple is super easy, so it doesn't count. Balacroft Mausoleum, which is the wind temple, it's pretty good. Now those are simple ones, and I'm sure somebody will be like, "Noob, fuck off!" No, they're just the later ones are just
and that's
terrible.
The problem is that like the reason is that like because the gimmick isn't a good gimmick. No. The swapping of the sorcerer's ring is not a good gimmick because you don't get anything that's fun to use.
Yeah, it's just not fun. There's a lot of backtracking. There's a lot of just. What do you do? Nothing is telegraphed well. It's all really poorly designed, and the enemies respawn, which makes it even more annoying. So it's not even like I'm gonna clear this room and solve this puzzle. Fuck no, they keep coming back.
I would be more forgiving if you didn't constantly lose the ability to stun enemies when your sorcerer's ring changed.
Oh, I know. Oh my god, there's so many annoying things.
If it still had that ability, I would be okay with the dungeon.
Oh, I remember another dungeon I fucking hate. Kavar's goddamn ranch.
Yes.
Wait, no, is it Kavar's ranch? The one with all the fucking teleport thingies, where you?
Okay, that's the other point I wanted to bring up is I can't fucking tell the villains in this game apart.
Oh god, Kavar's the one that killed Lloyd's mom.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kavar is the.
Well, you rot in hell. Come on.
Yeah, that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So.
Yeah. His dungeon's terrible with the teleporting pads.
Oh my god, because it's so easy to get confused, and I do every time. I hate it. So, and yet here I am. I mean, we're 13 minutes into this, and I love this game, even with the
Tales.
Go ahead.
And the reason is because the dungeons are a very small portion of what the game actually is, and that is just a really solidly built JRPG.
Yeah, exactly. It is so it's so well done. It's very well rounded. The story is good. It's kind of cliche, but 15 years ago it wasn't.
And the thing about Symphonia is that it's kind of the game's kind of overall theme is really sort of like a affectionate mockery of a lot of JRPG cliches.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel that.
You've got your chosen one, you've got your hero spouting goofy lines, you've got, the standard sage type character, you've got, a prophecy and
Luke, I am your father, all those things.
you've got all the JRPG like
tropes.
Punch, hits and punches, and then it's like, but they kind of make fun of them a little bit sometimes.
And I think they do a good job of kind of, if not outright subverting them, then certainly kind of putting a new play on them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, when the reveal, because when you first play the game, you're just like, oh, it's basically just Final Fantasy X.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And then you get to the Tower of Mana. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, man, it's so, the Tower of Salvation is such a...
Salvation, yes. Tower of Mana is a different dungeon. Yeah, Tower of Salvation.
No, I got you. Don't worry. I got you, bro. I understand you. The Tower of Salvation is such a good reveal. Like, that whole...
Yeah. And
I knew it was coming because I had an asshole friend who spoiled all of Symphonia for me. So, but...
But for me,
but even
I got punched in the gut.
I know, and even knowing it's coming, the setup is so well done that you're still like, oh, motherfucker, And
it's like what we talked about a while ago.
Literally, motherfucker.
No, we talked about how in Bioshock 1's reveal is a big twist is set up really well because it's subtly revealed and you might notice something a bit odd, but you don't know what you're noticing. It's the same thing here where you get lines like Sheena saying this world will be saved.
Yeah.
And you get little hints here and there and you're like, well, that's weird, but you don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And then it hits you and it all folds together and you're like, oh shit, now everything makes sense.
I know, and it's all really... I don't know.
And then you have 3/4 of the game to play.
Oh wait, by the way, there's still a ton of video game left. Sorry guys.
Yeah.
I do love how much video game is packed just into the first act.
The first area before the Tower of Salvation, that could be a sizable JRPG in of itself.
Yeah, I mean it's
That's like 15 hours.
It is.
if it's your first time going through it, yeah, that's easily like 15 hours, which is pretty good for an RPG.
I mean, it's pretty good for like a modern game. Maybe not, you know, 15 years ago when RPGs actually meant something. But, you know, these days, like, yeah, that's a pretty decent-sized video game right there.
And then you're like, oh, wait, fuck, what?
What? There's still so much more.
Because if you're playing the GameCube version, you're like, oh, yeah, there's a second disc in this thing.
Yeah, you completely forgot. You're just like, wait, holy shit. And then, like, the crazy thing is, the first time I ever played it was on GameCube, thank God. And it's like, it takes forever to get to that second disc.
Yeah, like, the second disc is basically just like a big chunk of leftovers that they're like, we couldn't fit it into one disc.
I know, because, like...
Let's just cram the rest into this little tiny one.
The first disc is so friggin' long. And I'm just like, when do I... After a certain point, because I think you gave me that game, because you were just like, please just play this fucking game.
Yeah, I bought it for you.
You're a good friend. It was a Christmas present.
And then...
Yeah. And,
I
mean, I just remember, like, playing it, and after a certain point of me playing this first disc for, like, 30 goddamn hours, I was like, okay, so that's second disc is just, like, bonus stuff, right?
Yeah. Because, like, it gets to the point where it's, like, or it says, like, please hit the second disc, and you're like...
What?
Yeah!
Oh, that's right!
Oh, right!
Yeah, there's a second disc? Okay. And just, like, man... Symphonia is so good. Okay, I don't even know where to start. I don't really know like where to even start because we kind of got like my major beef with like the game itself out of the way, which is its horrible dungeons. So like,
I think we should start with what I think is Tales games in general strongest points, and that is the cast of characters you get are always incredible.
Always the best. No matter what happens, no matter how weak the plot of a Tales game is, and I'm looking at you, the third act of Vesperia.
No matter how much the plot is, you play Tales games for the characters, because they have such great dynamics, they have such great strong personalities, there's a lot of growth in all of them. They're all fun to interact with. They all have bonus side quests attached to them.
Everybody's fully realized. You get a really good idea of their likes and dislikes. And they basically feel like people instead of just like cardboard cutouts fulfilling a specific role in a JRPG, which is sometimes what you feel in other games. A Tales game never really has that feeling. No matter what game it is. And I will even include Tales games I've never played. I could probably assure you that for however terrible, let's say, Legendia may or may not be, I assure you the cast of characters is probably awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
They put in a lot of work for all these characters, and not just the party members. A lot of the side characters too are all just really cool and memorable and interesting
and fleshed out. And that's kind of where it brings us to the whole idea of, I think the best thing that ever happened to the Tales franchise as a whole, to kind of give it that place as like the go-to series for character-based JRPG goodness, are the skits.
Yeah. Oh, the skits are such a wonderful addition that they didn't need to do,
and it was so
and
smart,
did anyway.
Right? Like, what a clever way to easily set up character building without having to maybe put in the resources to script out entire scenes, you know?
Yeah, they can be used for anything. Yeah. They can be used for humor, they can be used for lore dumping, they can be used for drama, for just some introspection, for a break.
Tutorials are sometimes come in the form of skits, and they always work. I mean, they are always they're so necessary at this point, because it's like, that is where an absolutely massive portion of really the small details of character building in a Tales game happen, is in the skits. And they're always really fun. Like, they're even you think like even in like Symphonia, where it's just, you know, because Asteria's and Grace's have very nice skits. Even in
Symphonia was back, they were just talking heads.
Yeah, and even those, like, they managed to get kind of the drama across, you know? Like, even when it's just talking heads and boxes, somehow they managed to really get some of those more poignant moments across in a really good way, and you're like, wow, these guys just, I mean, what a smart idea.
They know what they're doing, and I think I want to give a shout out to my favorite one in the entire game. Boy. And it is in the second visit to the Tower of Mana, where Lloyd complains that they can't quick jump to the end at the top of the dungeon. And everyone is like, what are you talking about?
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah.
It's my favorite skit in the game.
And the one raw point I have, and the PS3 version kind of fixed it, but we could have had it all, was that for Abyss and Symphonia, the English versions didn't have voice skits.
Yeah, they're not voiced.
And that is such a goddamn shame. Because the voice skits in Japan are really good. You can turn on the Japanese audio for the PS3 version. You can actually hear the voice skits. And it's really cool. They actually make skits go by a lot faster. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels like they go faster when you can hear them. And I don't know why that is exactly,
I have no
idea. It really does.
I think it's because, like, you always read faster than what's being displayed on screen.
Yeah, and you have to wait for the mouth to stop moving.
Exactly, but in a voice skit, you're listening along, so it doesn't go as, slow. Yep. But man, like, skits really are, like, a brilliant idea, and whoever, like, thought of that initially in Namco Bandai should probably
get a raise, get a promotion,
and be like retired off on their own private island at this point. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And just like I could probably talk at length about every single party member in this game.
In Symphonia, because they're so solid, right?
Lloyd is easily one of my favorite protagonists in pretty much one of my favorite protagonists in pretty much anything.
Protagonists.
I think he's great. He
is.
I'm such a sucker for hot-headed characters, and he's basically a Sentai hero as a JRPG protagonist, and he's got. And what I love most about him though, and it's what really sets him apart from other kind of like hot-blooded, punchy guys like that, is like Lloyd like has a very strong philosophy that he really sticks with. Like his hatred of, like, you get a lot of characters who hate authority, and they're rebels and they're cool guys. Lloyd's utter hatred of people misusing the word justice is such a strong character point to me. And when that's the minute I fell in love with this character, and I'm like, dude, he's so cool, is when he talks about how much he hates the word justice because people misuse it so often, and they try to use it to make to pretend that they're doing the right thing.
Right, yeah. And I just think, like, I don't know, he's just so well done. This is kind of going back again to the Steven Universe and the My Hero Academia podcast. He's endearing, and he's always he's always trying his hardest, and he holds himself to a higher standard, which I think is really great, even when he might be, kind of a doofus, but even then he's always holding himself to a better standard as a person.
What I like about
and I think
what
that's
I like about Lloyd's stupidity is that it is used as a joke sometimes, but there are also points where he gets where he accepts that he's not the brightest guy, not in a way that like, oh, I'm dumb, but like in a way that he's like, I understand that I don't quite grasp what's going on here. And he tries to make up for that, and like he can get perceptive at some like What I like about Lloyd is that Lloyd is really, and I'll talk about this more, especially with Vesperia, with Carol. Lloyd has things that he's really, really good at.
And I think that's
things
really
that
cool
like Rain doesn't know. As the resident smart character, like things that she can't do that Lloyd is more knowledgeable than her, and I think that's a really great thing to put in.
Yeah, Lloyd has a lot of, like, practical knowledge, not, like, book knowledge. He just kind of seems to have a really good grasp of just, like, the mechanics of things, which I think is awesome. It's such a, it's a very humanizing thing. It's too easy to make your hero just, like, the dumb one who doesn't know how to do anything at all, period. Like, that's very Goku. But, like, Lloyd has these things he knows very well, and then there are things he just doesn't know. And the things he knows well are relevant things. They're not just like little jokey jokes. They're like actual plot important things, and it's kind of a cool fact that, like you said, there are things he can do that Rain cannot do. And I really
appreciate that.
I really like, yeah, it's very humanizing. It's like, you're not gonna know, like, everybody you know is not going to be the smart guy, right? Like, but just because somebody isn't book smart, that doesn't make them stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And that's such a thing that gets overplayed, like, way too much these days. I mean everywhere. In, like, movies and books and in real life, people will assume, well, that guy's not book smart, he's stupid. Well, no, he's not stupid. He just doesn't know what you know, idiot. You know, and that's the definition of Lloyd. I mean, just because he doesn't know a certain set of stuff, that doesn't particularly make him stupid. And I appreciate that. It's a very humanizing thing, which is what's fucking Tails names do the best. Man, love me some Tails characterizations.
And then on the flip side of that, I love Genus and Rain for the exact opposite reasons, in that they are smarty smart pants, but they show, like, the consequences of having that kind of knowledge. Genus has that whole side quest where that little one in Palmacosta. Was it Palmacosta?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're at the school where he goes to the college and they take the
school.
exam. And he's like, I'm really, really smart, but, like, that can be a problem sometimes because, like, I'll be ostracized for being too smart. Yeah. But...
And, like, I love the Sage siblings a lot because... And I'm not, like, the best with child characters, but, I've kind of warmed up to Genus over the years. He's kind of grown on me as I get older because it's like, I don't know, he just strikes me as somebody who seems, he's having a hard time kind of grasping how unfair things can be. And he's a kid. He's having such a hard time kind of figuring out that, like, oh, life is unfair because they lived in a kind of isolated place. And he's just trying to look for somebody who can kind of be on his level, and that's why the whole side story with him and Mythos can be really sad. Is that it's like, hey,
Genus and Rain are really good representatives of one of the overall themes of Symphonia that does this theme better than BioShock Infinite, which is that racism is bad. Genus's prejudice towards humans is really well done. Because it's not overt, it's very subtle, and you only get little hints of just, like, what he's going through. And it's done in a very, like, I mean, it's a cartoon, so it's not exactly realistic, but it's done in a much more nuanced way.
Yeah, it's always, you think about it, you take a step back, and you're like, yeah, of course he's totally justified, because, like, if he didn't, I mean, the fact that him and his sister had to pretend to be just, like, full-blooded elves when they were living in Acelia, because otherwise they would have been booted out of the damn village. Like, that one little fact would have completely changed their lives, even though they wouldn't have been any different of people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, so you think, like, him hating humans is completely justified in a way, but then, of course, you also see the flip side of it with, hey, Mythos, who takes it entirely
Hey, buddy, do you want to maybe slow down a little there, buddy pal? Okay, friend?
That Mythos is the embodiment of that, really. It's like, chill the fuck out, dude. I know you're mad.
Mythos' plan is, well, there can't be racism if there are no races.
He's literally what's-his-face from The Incredibles.
Yeah, and when everyone's elves, no one will be.
Exactly.
Okay, so like I said, Lloyd warmed up to me the minute he did that whole justice spiel. Genus warmed up to me when he punked a bunch of full-blooded adult mages and just strutted off going, amateurs.
Amateurs, yeah. Oh, man.
I'm like, okay, he can be a little shit sometimes. I love this kid.
Alright, you shit kid. You can stay. You shit kid. And you know me and child characters.
I know, you guys had a messy breakup, you and child characters.
I know, I did. Me and child characters had a rough time, man. You don't know what I went through!
And then Elise came along.
And then Elise came along! Oh no, don't get me started!
We'll get to her in a couple weeks, but, no, totally understandable. And then, so speaking of characters that you absolutely adore, hey, let's talk about Kratos.
Yay! I love this asshole so much! He's such a great character.
He is a really, really interesting character.
Like, I like that Miyajima, or what's her first name? Shit. The writer for Tales of Symphonia is named Miyajima. Miyajima, I don't know how to say that name Japanesey enough. But she's awesome, by the way. She's just like a really cool person if you ever read anything that she has to say about like writing for games in general. She's just really cool. And I like that she kind of really made a good effort to push like the similarities between Kratos and Zelos, and not just their names. And the fact that they're redhead, you know,
redheaded
traitors,
magic swordsmen,
traitor assholes. Yeah. I mean, they're just really good characters, and I feel like, you know, when you and I talk about Symphonia, we don't talk about Zelos enough because I'm too busy screaming about how much I love, like, Lloyd and Regal.
It's hard because there are 9 party members in this game.
There's so many goddamn party members in this game. What the fuck? Chill! This is why later Tales games have so few. They're still trying to make up for Symphonia.
It's great because, like you said, Kratos and Zelos are both like two sides of the same coin. They're both kind of the traitorous characters, and they're both kind of suspicious, you know, activities. They're both involved with the main villain in a way.
They're both like emotionally codependent on Lloyd, you know.
But Kratos is you know, the dirtbag dad character, but he
done right.
Like, yeah, I should just end it there. Kratos is the dirtbag dad character. Period. That's the end of that statement.
Because there's a good dad character in Symphonia who doesn't bail out at the end of the goddamn game, you piece of shit. I'm still mad about that.
Yeah, but what I really dig about Kratos
is Camp
what I really dig about Kratos is just like the fact that you know, it's easy to say like he's mournful and repentant and regretful of his actions towards Lloyd, but the amount of effort he goes into making up for it once he is betrayed, and once he tries to sidestep things, and he tries, no matter which side he's on, he's always trying to push Lloyd into being better than he is.
Yeah, and one thing that the asshole who ruined Symphonia for me did not ruin for me is, like, the fact that, you know, Kratos keeps showing up out of fucking nowhere, right? And you're like, dude, don't you have a job? And then, of course, it turns out, he's been running around all of creation trying to, like, make this Ionis shit so that Lloyd can do what he can. And then you're like, aw, man,
It's Kratos is great because, like I said, he's trying to push Lloyd, even if that means Lloyd has to kill him. He wants Lloyd to push forward and do the right thing.
And sorry,
he knows that he's doing the wrong thing, and he wants Lloyd to be better than that.
And sorry, asshole, this is Tales of Symphonia where nobody dies unless we say so.
And I can't remember. It's been a while since I played it. Maybe you'd have a better memory than me. I don't think at any point in the game, or maybe he only does it like a little bit, he never tries to get Lloyd on his side.
No, he doesn't. He never really goes like, hey, see things from my perspective, because like, I think, you know, he's like 1 billion years old or what the fuck ever. And I think after a certain point he does like acknowledge or knows that like, yeah, what I'm doing is actually kind of fucked up, which is the whole place Lloyd came from in the first place, but, you know, tragedy. And, I think so he knows better than to like try and win Lloyd over, because one, it won't work. Lloyd's a stubborn asshole.
Yeah.
And two, I mean, it won't work because he knows he's wrong, and really throughout the whole game, he's aware that what he was doing was wrong, and so now the whole point of like Kratos' like kind of sub arc, because he's not really a character, like a full party member ever again. Until the end of the game.
He joins for that one dungeon, and then you can recruit him if you decide to kill Zelos.
But why would you kill Zelos?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, don't kill Zelos, you assholes. Please?
Yeah, like, he doesn't die anyway in canon because he's in Symphonia 2.
Yeah, which is a game I still need to play.
We won't talk about that because you haven't played it, and I have nothing to say about it.
It's a game that probably didn't need to exist.
Yeah. And then, but again, on the flip side, Zelos is the same thing, where he has the same kind of character arc, where you get to that point in both their character arcs where they basically say, "Hey, Lloyd, here's your chance to put me down."
Right.
And if you do, I won't blame you for it.
Yeah, because it's like you're completely justified in it, dude. Like, I am, in fact, a giant asshole. But, I don't know, I think the game handles those parallels really well.
It really, really well.
And I really appreciate... And I don't remember if it's in the game, but in the manga, which is super good because Kratos has amazing eyebrows. In the manga, it actually does. It has this really awesome scene between Zelos and Lloyd, where Zelos is like, "Dude, why aren't you more pissed off at Kratos? He's been jerking you around this whole thing, and now it turns out he's your dad, and he's just kind of like been running around fucking with you behind your back this whole time. Why aren't you more pissed off?" And I love that. I love the idea of Zelos as that friend who is like, "Bruh, I will fight him for you if I have to." All right? Like, I love that. I love that idiot.
Zelos is awesome. A very fun character. He's very awesome. Enjoyable.
And I feel like I was saying, we really don't... We don't talk about
him a lot.
Because there's so many fucking characters in this game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do kind of put Zelos lower on the spectrum of characters I absolutely adore to ones that I only adore slightly less.
Right, yeah.
So I put Zelos kind of on the lower end of that spectrum. Just because he kind of joins later and you kind of establish everything else right now, and he's just... He's a great character, but he's just not as appealing as, say, Lloyd or Regal or Sheena! Who is one of... I love that girl. I love the idea of a character. Like, you don't see a lot of characters done as well as Sheena, or that kind of archetype. That is, like, the clumsy sort of...
ball of anxiety.
Yeah, anxious character like that. Usually you get like the klutzy one who's kind of a ditz,
Wait, we do have that one, but we're not talking about her.
Yeah. But Sheena's great because she has that self-anxiety, that self-doubt. Mm-hmm. And in a very endearing and real way. And Sheena, now that I think about it, Sheena's like anxiety and her self-doubt issues are kind of one of the things that were kind of prepare you for Luke in Abyss.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes sense because, again, same writer.
Yeah. And but Sheena's like her she doesn't quite respect her own abilities.
Yeah.
She needs time to grow, and she has a lot of she treats herself poorly.
Yeah.
And she has that one skit that I love more than anything, which is kind of when you first get to Meltok, or you first get to Tetheala,
right?
And Colette's in a coma.
She should have stayed.
we'll get to her. Where Sheena, like, cause in that timeline, Sheena had pretty much just joined the party,
right?
And during the skit, she's like trying meditation to get Colette to wake up. And it's such like it's a very like cute thing, mm-hmm. but like it's such like a perfect example of what kind of the character Sheena is, where she's willing to try anything to help people besides herself.
Yeah, and I love that girl. Mm-hmm. Again, she's just another example of God. She's just trying so hard, man. And she can't catch a break, and she's just really cool when she really steps up.
I love whenever she gets frustrated, especially with the summon spirits. Like when she gets frustrated with Gnome and she doesn't complete the speech because he thinks it's dumb,
right?
And so she just kind of yells at him,
and it's just like blah blah blah, whatever. I love the part in I think probably the best, and of course it's the best part because it's basically the culmination of her character arc in a way. The part in the Temple of Volt, where she's just like, "Motherfucker, I will make you my summon."
Yeah.
Like, where she, like, really gets her backbone and is just like, "Fuck you." That is one of my favorite parts in any Tales game ever, period, because it's just so well done.
Yes, it's very, like, it's very emotional.
Yeah.
In many ways. You feel horrible because Corinne died. You feel
they just
scared.
killed her dog, man. Come on.
You feel scared because Sheena's panicking, and then she gets her resolve back, and you feel victorious triumph, and then you fucking punch Volt in the dick.
And then Volt is really, really not easy boss fight anyways, and it's awful.
He's a tough boss.
Motherfucker. Oh, God. Volt's always really hard. Like, no matter what Tales game, it's like, you piece of shit bouncing ball of horribleness, would you sit still? I hate you so much. Basically, I'm still really, really mad about Tales of Exillia 2's boss Volt fight, because it's bullshit. Okay.
No,
I
not
know,
yet.
I know, but it's so hard. It's so hard.
We'll get there. Just a few
Why is it so hard?
There is one regrettable thing about Sheena's character arc, and that is her fight with Kuchinawa, because you have to play as her. And that's really hard, because she is strictly a support character, and she has no arts that can deal heavy damage.
It's so hard.
None.
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. It's the worst. I've done it. I've beaten that piece of shit.
Yeah, I've done it too, but I don't want to ever do it again, because it's so hard. Why do Tales games that are strictly party-based games insist on one-on-one duels?
I don't know. It always happens too. I will say, speaking of one-on-one duels in Tales of Symphonia, I think probably my favorite, like, personal anecdote about Symphonia is that, like, okay, so the whole point of Tales of Symphonia is kind of like Lloyd's maturation as a human being, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the game is always like, Kratos is always like, hey, you rush forward into fights too much, and Rain gives him the same shit, and they're both like, you've got to be more tactical, and and the whole game basically, like, hammers this into your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the first time I ever fought Kratos, I will admit that when it comes to games like this, my strategy is not strategy, it's hit them as hard as I can and see who's left, you know?
Because in Tales games, you have support characters to heal you when you rush in headlong.
Exactly! And it works for me. I mean, I'm pretty good at these games. Listen, if I can beat the Golden Mage Knight on, I think it was Unknown, I don't know anymore. If I can beat the Golden Mage Knight, goddammit, I can do anything. So, like, you know, I'm playing Symphonia, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this, Kratos, I'm gonna fuck you up. And, of course, my instinct is to just run forward and go, charge! And then, you know, fuck things up. And I got my ass handed to me in 3 minutes.
You gotta think that through!
Yeah, so then I literally had to, like, live through this whole, like, training montage in my head of Tales of Symphonia, where I went, you know, they're the best around, in my brain, and I was like, oh, I've got to be tactical about this.
Yeah, you've got to be
they've
smart.
Been telling me the whole game. I'm so stupid. And then I did, and it actually turned out to be really satisfying, because, like, I was really, like, putting that block button to work and stuff, and I was, like, canceling attacks and doing all this stuff, and by the time I was done, I was like, yeah, I'm a badass!
It helps, because that one-on-one duel is the character you've most likely been playing as the entire game.
Shinawa, Sheena, you motherfuckers! Oh my god.
It's
that fight's so hard. Why does that even have to exist? I have actually, in my PlayStation 3 playthrough, been, like, routinely switching to play as, like, Sheena for that exact purpose, so that when I do get to the Kuchinawa fight, I'll kind of know what I'm doing, maybe. Yeah. I won't know what I'm doing. I will die 300,000 times and then just go level grind until I can just, like,
brute
beat
force
him with a stick. Yeah, just brute force it, you know what I mean?
Speaking of brute force, I want to talk about my second favorite character in the game, Regal.
Oh, yes!
There's one thing I want to say about Regal that I love the most about his entire character.
Is it? What is that?
That's the second one. I don't know why that line gets a lot of shit, because that is such an in-character line for Regal to say. Regal's such a melodramatic bastard.
Ridiculous. I know. I love you, Crispin.
But no, my favorite thing about Regal Bryant, my favorite thing, he has no personal stake in the final battle whatsoever. There is one reason that he is with Lloyd's party, and that is that if the world ends, he can't sell things anymore. Every other character has some kind of personal stake in fighting Mythos.
Yeah.
Regal is there because it's bad for business.
Exactly, and it's just, he's just so great,
it reminds me
right?
of how, like, in Steven Universe, the full theme of the Crystal Gems is that Garnet's speech is she wants to live on a planet where she can be free to be herself. Pearl wants to carry on the fight that the love of her life left. Amethyst lives here.
That's it. That's literally it. Like, that's literally Regal's whole motivation is like, I live here. I'm one of
the idiots that lives here.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Guardians.
And I love that for Regal, because he's such a fun character.
He's such a goofball, and you don't, like, think about it, because he kind of, when you meet him, he's like that big, tall, buff, serious Bara dude, and you're like, he's gonna be the quiet one. No, JK, he's actually a total weirdo goofball.
So there is one bit in Symphonia 2 that I love, and that is one of the rival characters you fight wears perfume, and he's easily identifiable because of the perfume smell that he has. The game states that it smells terrible. Regal finds out that the perfume is made by the Lazzareno Company. When he finds that out, his immediate response is, I will have them shut down production now.
He's just so ridiculous. He's just so ridiculous, and I love it. I appreciate it, because he's great. He's just like the weird dad character. He's not the terrible dad. He's just the weird dad. You know what I mean? Like, there's like 40 dads in this game, and I love all
Regal's
of them.
great, because Regal exemplifies one of my favorite tropes ever, which is characters who purposely limit their power to make it more fair to everyone else.
And then he shoots a fucking Hadouken at the end of the game.
So one of the things, and I kind of discovered this reading up on the game, one of the big major theories of the game is that, because there's the point where is it the second Tower of Salvation, I think, where Lloyd is slowly losing party members.
Yes. Yeah.
Which Regals is great, because Regals is the only one where he's like, yeah, I'll just beat him. I'll catch up. Like, everyone has, like, these big melodramatic things, or like, goodbye, Lloyd, I'm going to sacrifice myself to you. Regal's like, no, just give me like 10 minutes, I'll be there. I got this.
Yeah, and the best part is that Regal is left alone with, like, the most difficult thing. Like, when you leave Regal alone, it's literally one dude with his hands tied up versus, like, 40,000 of those, like, flying angel bitches. And you're just like, are you gonna be okay, dude?
I got it.
And he's like,
I'll
see you
I'll
later.
be back. Just give me 5 minutes. So, like, the theory that I saw, like, a bit, is that during that fight, he took off the cuffs.
Yes! I never even thought about that.
Which would be
so good.
Like, and I love that, because it's, like, you can't have a more perfect moment than, I'm going to power up by removing my weakness.
It's Kenpachi holding the sword with both hands.
Yeah, holding with two hands, or taking off the eye patch, or like I told you earlier, like Cody in Street Fighter, where he could be literally unstoppable if he took the cuffs off.
But he just chooses not to. And
so like the idea of Regal just taking the cuffs off and then Saitama one punch man just blasting an army of angels into dust.
I've never been more surprised in that game. And there are a few moments in that game that somehow were not spoiled for me. But, like, the one thing that shocked me the most in that, and I think I even texted you when it happened, was I texted you with just, did Regal just shoot a fucking Hadouken?
And he did! He's just like, well, these bars aren't actually a human being, so I can do this!
I can do whatever I want. And then you're like, what?
And that's when you realize that Regal could solo the entire game if he wanted to. Because, like the thing is, like, you get characters who kick a lot, who are, like, martial artists and who are good with their legs and stuff like that. Regal trained with his arms. Like, Regal is not a leg-based fighter by training. He trained to be strong with his arms, and then he limits himself. And, like, that's, like, a relatively recent thing in his lifetime.
Yeah! And he's a pretty aces kicker guy.
He's still that strong!
Oh, he's just so ridiculous. that is why Regal Bryant is awesome. Also, the fact you and I talked about this, he's Batman.
And the idea that the Batman reference is intentional makes it even all the better.
Oh, I know, absolutely.
Because he's just Batman.
He's just Batman. Yeah. And I mean, that's awesome. I love this. I love this guy. I love that idiot. And I'm really appreciative because I'm tired enough that I can have a fangirl moment and not feel like self-conscious about it. I'm appreciative of his man bra.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's.
I just wanted to get that out of the way. I appreciate Regal Bryant's man bra.
There is a theory that is a standard prison outfit, but he's just that big that they had to modify it so it would fit him. And that's why it has the ties there, is because it burst at the seams, so they had to tie it together.
I believe it. I do. I'm 1000% on board with that theory, dude. And who else?
Speaking of Regal, we're gonna connect right on to Presea.
Presea, who's awesome and amazing,
who's adorable and tragic and heartbreaking.
But so much fun. Like, when the game isn't making me go, oh my god, I'm just like, I love this character because she's just so, like, straight-faced about everything. Like, she's the perfect straight man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, the flawless straight man character. Because
that bit where when you first meet Regal and you knock him out in the forest, and she just one arm carries him. And because Lloyd
was Colette. That was Colette.
Oh, it was Colette. I thought. No, she's dragging the big log. The log. Yeah, the big log.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't do this. Like, Lloyd and Genus are like, we can't. And then she's like, I got it. Whatever.
I got you. I got you, bro. You guys suck. And I'm just like, I adore her. She's actually really fun to play as too. She's really tanky.
She's got great arts, man.
Yeah, man, she has an incredible art list because she's really slow but like tanky. But like, man, when she does hit, it's like really satisfying.
Devastation, eternal devastation.
Oh, by the way, and she's voiced by Tara Strong.
Yeah, of course.
You
got to get your Tara Strong in there.
Yeah, there's always gonna be a Tara Strong. You know what I mean? With her little high pitched squeaky voice, and but she's super great, too. And I like her whole character arc. I like seeing her kind of flesh out. I like that part when she smiles for the first time. Because my little gay heart just swells. I'm just like, good for you, child. You be happy for once. I love you. You know?
She's adorable when she gets the Klonoa outfit.
Yes. And just, you know, can we complain about the fact that the kid characters get really screwed in the costume department?
Yeah, that's, like, because, like, everyone else has really great costumes, but, like, Presea and Genus got just shit.
Right? Now, Presea's cameo costume is awesome for the PS3 version. Genus's is balls.
Yeah.
It's the worst. I don't understand the point of giving him Luke's costume. I'm actually
it doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit his character.
I guess the only thing I can think is that it's the whole Mythos/Van connection. Like,
kind of, but he should have had a tiny Jade costume.
Or I still think he should have had a Jude costume myself, because I think that would have been awesome. And that
would have been good. Jude or Jade, either one, just whatever vowel you want.
Go with whatever vowel you want. But the point is, the child deserved something better than Luke's horrible costume.
Yeah, Luke's outfit's terrible.
I hate that fucking outfit. Which is, again, for the Abyss thing.
Yeah.
We're not going to get
but Genus and Presea both got screwed. Like, Presea, the only costume we put Presea in is her Sunday Best costume, because it's the only one that's actually decent on her.
Yeah, except for her Elise costume, but I'm biased.
Yeah.
And by the way, like, I guess it doesn't really matter, because if you're playing Tales of Symphonia, then if you're playing Tales of Symphonia on the PS3, the statistic is very high that you've already played this game before. Mm-hmm. But I like the huge goddamn spoiler for both games that is Kratos' Ludwig costume.
Kratos gets that outfit.
If you've never played Exilia 2, well, good for you, for one.
Yeah.
But for two, if you've never played Exilia 2, then, like, Kratos' Ludger costume is the biggest spoiler possible. You wouldn't even You know, it's like, oh, well, he's the other character's dad.
Yeah. And it's and on that same note, the fact that in Xillia 1, Alvin gets Kratos' costume.
Oh my god, right? And
it's just like, gee, I wonder what character this is.
I have no... By the way, and I'm gonna do it, I'm bitching about Judgment right now, my friend. I hate that fucking costume. It's the ugliest goddamn piece of disco bullshit ever.
I also do not like Kratos' Disco Fever suit.
His Disco Fever Kingdom Hearts bullshit.
Do you remember, it was posted on 4chan a lot, the every JRPG ever comic, where everyone kind of looks really weird, and they like do all the cliches, and like the villain is like a big pretty boy, and he's like, I am here with angel wings and also disco shoes? And like that's clearly whoever drew that comic played Symphonia, because that's Mythos.
And it's like, I am not understanding your weird disco aesthetic for your crazy religious cult, bro, but it's got to die.
What's weird is that the Grand Cardinals don't look like that.
I know!
It's only Mythos and Kratos wear the weird disco costumes. Everyone else, like all the angel minions wear like angel robes. Like all of the Grand Cardinals wear like militarized outfits or like mercenary outfits. Even crap, what's his name? Ewan wears a cape.
Cool outfit.
Like a cool cape.
Yeah, Ewan's outfit's really cool. Okay, here's the other thing that fucking baffles me. One, that Ewan, Kratos, and Mythos have been wearing the same goddamn outfit for 4,000 fucking years.
Well, models are hard.
Like, guys, please, just find something new. Move on.
It was 2001. Making models is hard.
I know, but also, like, do you really mean to tell me, according to the anime, that absolutely god-awful piece of shit Kingdom Hearts disco nightmare bullshit that is the Judgment outfit was the outfit Kratos wore when he was a knight? Are you serious? No! Fuck you! I refuse to believe it. I absolutely 1000% steadfastly refuse to believe it. I love Ufotable more than I love anything, but no.
This off-brand Evangelion plug
bullshit.
Suit. He wears the costume you see at the Halloween store that's like Kid Robot Pilot, and it's like Shinji's outfit, but like not.
Yeah, it's awful. I hate that fucking... and bringing it all back around, just like 2 seconds, you never realize how fucking hideous Judgment is as an outfit until you see it on Alvin. Like, that, like, seeing it on, like, those little cutesy chibi models, you're like, okay, I get why it exists like that, because it's like, well, you've got these teeny tiny models, so you need to make the outfits really kind of different to make them stand out. You know what I mean? I get that. It's the Mario thing.
And then you put it on Alvin, and you're like, oh god,
no,
this is just disco stew.
It literally has, if you look at it, it just has a giant blue diamond right on its crotch. It's just a giant blue diamond right over his dick, and you're like, what?
Okay,
what?
Speaking of Ewan and bad character design, I want to bring this up because I love it so much.
Oh boy.
You saw it too.
Oh boy.
And I know you did.
I'm sure.
Does Ewan have a little pencil mustache?
I did. The first time I played this game, I thought he had a little pencil stash.
So I got Symphonia from my buddy Dave.
Yeah.
And I went to Dave, and I'm like, dude, does Ewan have like a little dirtbag pencil mustache? And he was like, maybe?
The first time I played this game, I did think Ewan had a little shitty dirtbag pencil stash, and I was really like enthusiastic about it.
It took until Symphonia 2, where they have updated character models, and Ewan appears in a flashback, to be like, oh, he doesn't.
Oh, what a shame.
And I was like, thank God, but also, God damn it.
It's so sad, because Because it's so ridiculous.
Like, if anyone listening to this who didn't see it, play the game again and look real closely at his model and be like, yeah, he kind of has a dirtbag pencil mustache.
He's got a dirtbag stash. Because, like, and I don't to this day, I will never understand why they did this. Because, like, and I guess it's just, like, a Japanese thing. I don't know. But, like, putting anime kind of aesthetic-y things on character models, and I don't mean, like, big googly eyes, because obviously Tales of Exillia has pulled that off very, very well. But I mean, like, the whole, like, the lips that aren't full lips. They have
like the little, like, gap between the lips.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. All the characters in that game have it, but for some reason on Ewan, it just especially looks like a mustache.
All the characters in Symphonia have little chipmunk mouths.
They do. Teeny tiny little chiclet mouths. Like teeny tiny little, itsy bitsy little mouths. It's so weird.
On Ewan, it's just especially noticeable.
Because
and you
he
think
has
he
a
has
mustache.
And it's my favorite thing, and whenever I'm, like, feeling down, I'll think about Ewan, just, like, when I think of Tales characters, I think of their concept art, you know, like, and when I visualize them in my mind, I think of their concept art.
Right.
So I visualize concept art Ewan with just a little tiny mustache.
A little shitty dirtbag mustache.
We've
so awesome.
spent an hour talking about how great this game is.
Wow.
Let's do it.
Are we gonna do it?
Let's talk about the worst thing about this game.
Can I say it?
It's not the dungeons. It's not the Sorcerer's Ring.
Can I say it?
Yes.
It's Colette!
It's Colette.
It's Colette! She's fucking awful.
Colette is the first in a line of characters that we have that are the worst parts of their respective Tales games.
And really, I think Colette might be the worst of the worst. Because I hate Colette more than I hate Ion. Which really is saying something.
It's very close. I think Ion wins out, and I will tell you why. And this is all I will say about her. Colette at least has something, and that is Colette loves dogs. And Colette had that bit in the castle where she pretended to be an angel of death.
Okay.
Colette has that.
She does
Ion
have
has
it.
nothing.
Ion really has nothing. The only thing I could maybe say that Ion has is, like, that one moment in where he, like, finally flexes his fucking muscle as the Pope, you know? And he's like, hey, let me in. And they do, and that's it. Okay, so yeah, Ion is the worst. Ion is the fucking worst. You're right.
But Colette's still pretty terrible.
Colette's still pretty terrible. And Colette likes dogs. And I like 85% of anybody who likes a dog, right? You know, dog people. I'm a dog people. But even then, even liking dogs cannot save Colette. She's just so awful.
She is the worst aspects of every part of her character archetype.
Oh, God,
she is the shrine maiden who wants to help everyone, and she's so sorry that she's not the best ever, and she's so good, and she has no problem sacrificing herself, and oh, it's okay, everything's great, don't worry about me, guys, as she vomits blood everywhere. It's Colette's inability to ask for assistance literally hinders the party's progress in significant amounts.
I know. Listen, Colette's inability to just go, hey, my arm is turning into a rock is literally the reason I have to put up with the fucking Ymir Forest, and for that reason alone, I'll never forgive her ever. It's
terrible.
Because Ymir Forest is the fucking worst. I hate Ymir Forest more than I hate Colette, and that is the truth.
She's just so bad.
Just so bad. And I really, really hoped at some point I would warm up to this character.
I did too.
I had, me, I will talk myself out of hating nearly anybody. I was able to find out by searching my soul and having a come to Jesus moment that, in fact, Natalia is the greatest character in the Tales series.
We'll talk about the turnaround on Natalia.
Oh, yes. But, I had a come to Jesus moment, and I realized, oh, wait, no. Natalia is actually the greatest character ever. I'll fight you. I even learned to like Ivor, and that is the only good thing about Exillia, too. But Colette, I can't do it. I cannot find a single thing about Colette that I like. I thought, maybe as I get older, like with Genus, I'll get older.
As you replay the game and you see it in a new light, maybe you'll appreciate her more with hindsight of what happens in the story. No, you hate her more.
You hate her more because you get older and you're like, bitch, just say something, motherfucker.
Because when you replay the game, you know when she's lying.
And it's so fucking annoying. And it's just like, all of her little fake cutesy bullshit is just the most irritating thing.
We talked about how Sheena does like the clumsy character really well. It's funny because Sheena has that moment where she trips on the trap door and everyone's like, oh my god, did she actually do that?
But that's funny. But the fucking setup for that is that Colette goes, whoopsie!
Yeah.
And you're just like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Have I mentioned that I fucking hate you?
Slapstick is funny. When Colette does slapstick, it's not funny.
It's the cringiest thing ever. I get so much, like, secondhand embarrassment from Colette's bullshit, slapstick, clumsy nonsense that I can't even... I have to, like, look away from the screen. I'm just like, who thought this was a good idea? Okay, so I mentioned earlier how the early game is basically Final Fantasy X. Colette is 1,000 laughing scenes. She is literally just one long laughing scene for like 40 hours of gameplay.
The best part of the game is when she can't talk.
Oh god, right? Couldn't she have just stayed that way? Couldn't, like, man, Colette was at her absolute best when she was like some sort of bullshit nightmare fuel.
And she had those glowing red eyes and she couldn't talk. And she couldn't talk.
Creepy and she couldn't talk. And she couldn't talk. Man, wasn't it great when Colette
Remember that time when she was kidnapped and she wasn't in your party? That was great.
Man, that was amazing. Or how about that time when she was possessed by Martel, so she wasn't actually Colette?
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome, right?
Remember when Colette wasn't Colette?
Man, that was awesome. Remember all those fucking times she gets kidnapped because she's an annoying piece of shit character who I hate?
It's just... And it's annoying because the fandom loves her.
I know. I don't get it.
It's baffling to me why they would attach themselves to this character who is so cliche. And in a game, the game has such great characters. Tales games have such great characters, and
we didn't even talk about all of them.
Yeah, and then Colette is such just cliche, poorly written, just garbage character.
Just bullshit, garbage, nonsense. Just everything that I literally hate in like that standard. I was hoping that if I played it in Japanese, maybe I could find the appeal. Fuck no! Her Japanese voice is actually more annoying than her English voice because it's that weird, breathy, girly nonsense garbage that...
Yeah, or it's like, what did you jog to the studio? Like,
have you been jogging this whole time behind my back? Take a fucking breath, girl. You know?
It's terrible.
I don't get it. I do not get the appeal of this character. She's not cute. Her character design isn't even that good.
She has the worst costume of them all. Like,
she's got, I mean,
her outfit's terrible. It's a bag.
It's a bag.
She wears like a big grocery bag.
And this is a game where Genus literally has, like, shorts up to his nipples, and I still think that Colette's outfit is worse.
This is a game where Rain wears a poncho, and Colette's is worse.
A poncho and big fucking fishing pants, and still, Colette is worse. I mean, yeah, I hate.
It's just so annoying it's... So there's a difference between hating a character because the game wants you to hate them, and hating a character the game is trying to force down your throat.
Oh god!
And because Colette's the chosen and she's important and everyone has to love her, we have to put up with all the characters fawning over her, and no one calls her out for her bullshit. They just they create excuses and they try to gently let her down, and no one ever tells her to shut up.
Oh, just shut the fuck up, please. Just stop talking. Like
and she's not even a good party member.
Yeah! Her fucking steal rate is absolute bullshit, for one. I mean, it's completely worthless. I was trying to do the crafting thing in my PS3 playthrough a little bit more. Because, like, hey, turns out with crafting, you can get some neat things, right? But that means you've got to use fucking Colette. Yeah. And I realized, you know what? Yeah. I don't care. I'll be alright. I will be alright. I don't need that sword that badly, as it turns out, because I don't want to fucking use Colette ever.
She's terrible.
She's just annoying. Her steal rate sucks. It's really slow and shitty to play as her. I don't understand how a character who is supposed to have these agility-based weapons that are like throwy, spinny, disc things. I don't even know. Like, how is that character... How does she play so slow? Like, I don't get it.
It's just baffling.
I don't
know how they could have dropped the ball so hard on a character who's so important to the story.
Maybe because it's like, they were like, well, we'll just put all of their shit on one character, and then everybody else will look infinitely better in comparison, because if that's the case, they succeeded. Because next to Colette, everybody looks awesome. And I mean, fucking everybody in that game. I like Mythos more than I like Colette, and Mythos is off his fucking goddamn rocker, man.
Well, there is one other character they dump all the shit into, and that's Chocolat, but, that's a minor thing.
She's a minor character and an ungrateful whore. Am I allowed to still call people whores? I hate that bitch.
Yeah.
I don't...
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, man, you rude bitch. Come on. Yeah. Whatever.
Go fuck yourself, Chocolat.
You stupid...
Yeah, no, I'll stay with the kidnappers. Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope they turn you into a fucking power rock, bitch. Yeah. You know, like, shut up. Whatever.
Stay kidnapped for, like, 60% of the game.
Oh, God. I always forget that you actually can save Chocolat, and then I'm like, well, I don't think I'm going to. Do you even get anything for saving her?
I think it's mandatory.
Is it really?
I think you run into her when you're exploring one of the dungeons.
Man,
and then,
nobody cares. Whatever.
Yeah.
Can we just leave her behind? Please?
The point is that Colette is terrible.
She's awful.
And she is a dark spot on this otherwise fantastic
Fabulous game. Fantastic game. Terrible heroine. I don't understand how that happened. But whatever. It's okay.
It really feels like she got kind of shoved in, because it feels like Sheena was supposed to be the chosen one.
She kind of technically is, considering the fact that her being like a summoner, like the only summoner, is kind of the reason they were able to pull the two worlds together in the first place.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? It's just weird that, like, they divided the duties up like that, because usually you'd expect in a game like this that she would, like, the summoner would take on the role of uniting the worlds and all that, and, being the chosen one.
That is Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, but, like, it's just, like, in general, like, summoner-type characters are usually, like, special ones, like, chosen
Final
ones
Fantasy
like that.
IX, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, no, they just divided those duties up, and it's weird, because after a certain point, Colette's actually really useless.
Colette's status as chosen kind of drops off and stops being as relevant because she becomes more relevant as Martel's vessel.
But and then after she's like succeeded at that, or she's fulfilled that purpose in the story, Colette just kind of stops doing things. Like, she just kind of stops being there. I mean, literally after a certain point in the plot, I kind of forgot Colette was there sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, she's just that irrelevant, and I know, because the cool thing is, thanks to the affection system, which is awesome. If you, at least if I'm remembering this right, depending on who like Lloyd is the closest to, they're the one that Mythos possesses.
Yes, that's right.
So like, even then, at that moment where it probably should have been like Colette's moment to like be important by being kidnapped again. Ugh.
Yeah, you can subvert it by having him possess someone else.
Exactly, somebody more likable, you know, like Sheena.
Like Sheena.
Which is, you know, that's how it should. That's how God intended it to be. God damn it.
Yeah.
But I hate Colette.
I really, it's not fair.
It's not fair. It's hard. Sometimes just playing the beginning of the game is really hard for a lot of reasons, but Colette's pretty high up there. You know what I mean? Just because she's so annoying. She's just so annoying. I can't get over it. I don't understand how a character can be so annoying in both languages. That's what really blows my mind. And she's really and she's annoying in the anime. She's like tolerable in the manga because she doesn't say a lot, and she's kind of cute. Like the art,
you can skip past her pages.
Yeah, and her art is cute, so you're like, okay, I don't hate you as much. And then you play the game, and you're like, I remember. Now
it's all coming back to me.
No, make it stop. Oh God, no. Oh. Yeah, it's awful. Like war flashbacks whenever she's involved. The ad that just popped up on Skype, you should know this. I know this is like a really random non sequitur. I just looked at our Skype screen. And it's literally like this horribly drawn anime chick that's pregnant, and I don't understand why. It's literally like 4 panels of like weird anime things, and one is this like awful drawn anime girl who's like really skinny, but she's pregnant, and one is an old car, and then one is Goku, Naruto, and Luffy.
Okay, I know that's weird.
I know that's really strange, but it just popped up, and I felt like I needed to say that, man. But yeah, was there anything else we wanted? I feel like we've missed a lot. What is...
I wish it got a better anime adaptation, honestly. Oh God. I wish it had come out on time.
Yeah, and I wish it had I love Ufotable, I mentioned that, and the fight scenes are really good. Like, they're really cool. The later ones. Like, the early ones are really, like, not good. But at the end of the game, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. Holy shit. And then, like, the rest of the story is just really not well done at all. It's really shitty.
Yeah. It's very disappointing.
It's really melodramatic. And there's, like, a lot of weird inaccuracies that I don't understand. Like, I was reading this in a blog the other day that was talking about how shitty the anime is. There's that part where, like, it's after Colette's collapsed or something, and they're in this town, and then the person points out, like, what fucking town is this? Because it doesn't look... No, really! If you go watch the episode, you watch it, and you're like, it's like episode 1 or 2, something like that. Colette's collapsed.
I think I remember that. Where, like, yeah, they're just, like, in a town.
And it's like a city.
Like, in town.
It's like a city. Like a big city. And you're like, it's Palmacosta, right? But no, it's nowhere near the water. So then you're sitting here, like, and you're just watching it, and you're like, where the fuck are they? Where the fuck are they? What is going on? Because they're not near the water at all, so it can't be Palmacosta.
And Palmacosta is the only big town in the game,
exactly.
in Silverant.
Exactly. So where the fuck are they? Like, that's like... That really sums up all of the Symphonia anime really well right there. Also, everybody's really same-faced, and I'm glad Ufotable got away from that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up most about this, is like there's like a really good shot of like a bunch of characters in profile, and they all literally have the exact same face.
Yeah, it's really weird. There's a shot from like one of the drama CDs that Ufotable did the art for, like the cover art for, and it's Colette and Genus and Lloyd all looking down, like at the camera, like a Quentin Tarantino shot. And they're
about to curb stomp the camera.
They're all looking down like in a circle, and you literally just are staring at this because, one, none of them have any noses, and two, they all look exactly the fucking same, and it's really, really creepy. Like, when you get that level of same face in an anime, it goes from being like weird to like something you might have
unsettling.
Something you might have a nightmare about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, oh god,
oh no,
it's
back. Oh god, no, please! And
I did what you asked.
Why don't you leave me alone, Symphonia face? And I'm glad they got away from that. Like in the Zestiria anime, everybody looks really different because the Zestiria anime is really fucking good, dude. I'm really glad they got away from it, but the poor Symphonia anime is just not very good. I mean, really, there is no good Tales anime until Zestiria, because Abysses sucks too.
Yeah, and Zillia didn't get one.
Because God is dead.
Yeah.
But, oh wait!
And Vesperia got a movie.
Well, that movie's really good, though, so I guess that doesn't count. I mean, yeah, Vesperia's movie's really, really good. What are these...
But, like, it's Symphonia, like, there are a few other little points I wanted to bring up. We talked about it earlier in the beginning, how, like, this is a good starter game for fans like that. I honestly think that the combat mechanics in this game are probably my second favorite of every Tales game I played.
Except for Xillia, holla.
Yeah, well, Xillia's the best, and then Symphonia, I think, is beneath
second
that.
Best, absolutely. Just because it's really... Like, one of my major problems when I first played Vesperia, for example, actually when I first played Vesperia, I guess I shouldn't even say for example, is that Vesperia it has a really good combat system, but it kind of feels a little sluggish. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes... It
feels like there's some hitbox dissonance.
Yeah.
With Vesperia. And I don't know if that's just the way the animations play out, or the hit sparks, or whatever. It just feels like the hits aren't quite there. Like, whereas Symphonia, you get that nice, chunky slashing sound when you make contact.
Yeah, and it's like, I press the button, and the thing happens on screen at the exact same moment, and that's all I ask, really. Especially in an action-based game, where that's kind of important.
Lloyd's art sets are probably among my favorite.
Yeah.
I love the setup I usually run with, which is, his standard is Sonic Thrust, his forward is Dire Fang, his up is Tempest, and his down is Sword Rain. I love that combination. It works really well for me. It's the best.
Sword Rain, does he get Sword Rain Alpha? Yeah.
Sword Rain Alpha and Sword Rain Beta.
And he gets a few other really great ones. I always map especially in the PS3 version, you also have the shoulder buttons to use. I map the Tempest to one of those, actually, and it's really great. So you can just click the trigger, and he tempests his way across the screen, and it's awesome.
The dual, like, the Tekken and Strike system is really cool. It's
really smart, yeah.
And it really encourages multiple playthroughs.
Yeah, because you can be like, you know, some characters' art lists really don't change. I think Regal and Presea are relatively unchanged based on Tech or Strike, so I usually just make them Strike.
Genis and Rain are really
different.
really altered by it.
Yeah, which is really interesting. I mean, why would you ever go with Rain anything that isn't Tech?
Yeah, why you would put Rain on Strike is I have no idea why, because why would you choose significant mass healing over complete single healing?
Yeah.
Or the other way around, yeah, like you can Strike has full heal for single characters, but you could just have her cast Nurse, which is good enough.
Yeah, and she gets revitalized at the end of the game, which is awesome. Yeah. Like, the only reason you would even want to maybe keep... Like, the one reason in my PS3 playthrough I'm going to put Rain on Strike for, like, a very short period... Well, I don't know. Now that I think about it, she gets, on her Tech path, she gets Ray, which is awesome. But on her Strike path, she gets Holy Lance, which is also awesome, but doesn't do but only does, like, one, and like, a damage to one...
Yeah, single target damage.
Thank you, that's my English. But I've never seen her use Holy Lance in this game ever, and I just really want to see it. You know? Like, that's my whole reasoning, is like, I just really want to see what Holy Lance looks like in Symphonia, man. I think it's really smart. I think it's just a cool way to have different playstyles, without having a giant arcing skill tree. Not that there's anything wrong with the skill tree, holla at Exilia.
But it's a very simple mechanic, and it's easy to pick up on and understand.
Yeah, it's great, honestly.
The X gems, like, mechanic where you put, slot 4 in and you pick different abilities out of them is really smart, really intuitive, and it's simple, and it's easy to pick up.
It's a good starter.
Zasteria,
which I still don't understand, and I've played the game for like 20
Zasteria
hours.
And Vesperia, which I barely understand Vesperia's abilities.
I get Vesperia's abilities. I get only because it's Final Fantasy IX. And I played a lot of Final Fantasy IX. Although I don't understand to this day, and this is getting off topic, but whatever. To this day, I don't actually know what happens when, like, if you turn on one ability in Vesperia and then another ability, and that little symbol pops up in the corner. I don't actually know what that symbol means.
I think that symbol is elemental damage, maybe?
I don't know.
It's weird.
I don't know. I've played that game so many times that I still don't really know what it does. But I just think it's a really smart... I just think Symphonia has some of the best fucking boss battles in any game ever.
Oh, dude, the boss battles are so good in that game.
They're so good, right? They're so satisfying because they're hard, but not too hard.
You fight a lot of big things in that game.
Yeah, you fight like tons of big things, and they're really difficult. And it's like the best part of all those shitty dungeons is getting to the end because you're like, yes, boss battle!
They're so good.
And
the combat in this game is
the reason why Ymir Forest sucks dick is that it didn't even have the decency to have a boss
there's no
battle.
conclusion. You just get out of the forest and you're good. You win.
That's it. Motherfucker, if there had been a boss battle at the end of Ymir Forest, I might
You had to fight that elf kid and he was really strong. That would have been worth it.
Oh man, I wish I could beat that elf kid's ass.
Maybe that's why no one likes elves, because they're bitches who can't get fruit.
And who would make you go through this awful fucking dungeon, the literal worst thing ever. How are you supposed to beat the Ymir Forest without a goddamn guide? I don't understand it!
You know what? Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you a story. The first time I did the Ymir Forest, okay? I brought my GameCube up north. There was no internet up north. I was in the Ymir Forest with no internet, no walkthrough, no guide, nothing. I had to beat that thing by myself.
That sounds like a horror story.
It was the worst ever.
How do you even do
Trial and error. You go, and then the fruit doesn't go where it needs to, so you go back and you try to shoot the fish, or you try to knock the leaf over, or you try to push the tree, or you
so you can get to the fun fucking part of the game.
It's the Ymir Forest is like someone's like, hey, what if we suddenly turn into a point-and-click adventure game?
Oh my god! And except it's not even a good point-and-click adventure game. It's like, I mean, that is like that's like a video game dungeon out of nightmares because there's no real internal logic at all. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand. Why are the dungeons in Symphonia so fucking bad? How are we back at this conversation topic that we started the goddamn podcast
Because it's worth
with?
repeating that some of them are not good.
So
Play Symphonia, the dungeons are terrible.
You should play this game, I say, and then tell them to go just get a fucking guide. I literally, if somebody told me, like, I beat Symphonia, but I used a guide to get through the dungeon, I'd be like,
that's understandable.
Okay. I completely understand.
Like,
1,000%.
play Symphonia. The dungeon sucks, but then you get into a fight and you're like, oh, it's really good though.
Oh,
I can hit the things and they go real good.
Oh man, you hit so good. Oh, it's so satisfying. Yeah, man, it's so good. Like, I really, I just really like.
I think there's also like I want to mention a few like little bits. I love the Rain's implication that she can't go see the unicorn.
I love Rain.
Because like she's telling it to a bunch of kids and she's just like, because I'm an adult, unicorns can't go near adults. Yup.
That's totally how it works. Yeah, it's adults that can't go near unicorns. No, I love Rain. We didn't even really talk too much about like
we
Rain.
talked about Genus and like Rain a little bit, but like Rain's really great. She's such a
Rain is such a good character. Rain, the only tragic thing and the thing I really wish that like Namco Bandai would pull their heads out of their asses about, Rain is technically the oldest female playable character.
Yeah,
it's
because
weird. It's weird. I mean, I guess technically Edna and Lila in Zestiria are older because they're thousands of years old, but fuck you.
But like, yeah,
Lila looks 18 and Edna's a lowly. Fuck you.
I don't know. I thought Lila was like adult aged.
I don't know, but she's still younger than Rain, probably, like physically. You know, and it's weird.
Well,
right?
No, okay, guess not. Never mind. Milo's 20. That's right. Okay.
Milo's
you're
20.
right. You're right.
Rain
is like the oldest female character.
That's weird. Like, really? That's just, we have like a 62-year-old. The time is now for an old lady Tails character.
To be fair, like they only just now got away from old male characters being above 35.
In their 30s.
Oh yeah, Regal's such an old man. He's 35.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves. I'm 28 now. Gee, well, I'm
no. The worst is Raven. Raven's 35, and he's like, "Oh, I'm an old grandpa man."
I'm a grandpa man. See, when Jade does it, you know he's just being an asshole. You know what I mean? Jade is 35, and he's like, I'm so old.
Oh, look at my busted ass knees. Oh.
I'm so old as I push and pull this box with one hand.
But then Raven's like, I'm legit old. And like everyone else is like, look at this old timer.
And it's like, oh my god.
He's 35 years old.
Shut up, you goddamn children. I hate all of you. The older I get, the more I'm like, why are you all kids? It's horrible. I've become an old woman. That's like, that's really the moral of the story, is that I'm an old lady now, and I'm ready to die.
Not yet. We have a lot of podcasts to do.
I know, there's so many video games.
The best, I think, though, we didn't mention it, a lot is, dude, this game has some great fucking music.
Oh man, the music in this game's so good. I can't
because it's the one that I played the most, dude, that music just sticks out so well because I've heard it so often.
Oh, I know.
I love the soundtrack. It's really like it's weird to have a JRPG, a fantasy JRPG that has that much electric guitar in it.
Right? And it's so, I don't even know. I can't even
kicks ass.
It kicks ass, and it's just really fun. And because you will spend a lot of goddamn time in those fucking dungeons, you better get used to that music. You know what I mean?
Dude, the battle themes sound like fucking Power Rangers themes.
Right? They're
and you're
so
just like,
good.
yes, that's so cool.
And every time they change, you're just like, oh, it got better. It found a way.
When it because like it changes when you like that's what really hits you, that you're in another world when you first go to Tetheala and you hear the different battle music and you're like, holy shit.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm in a different place.
And it's so good because somehow they found a way to make the battle music better. Like, that's what blew my mind the first time I played Symphonia, was like, man, this battle music's really good. And then you get to Tetheala and you're like, whoa, this battle music's really, really, really good. Holy shit. Like, I don't know how they do it, but props to you, Tales of Symphonia, and your awesome music. And the fact that you don't have enough anime cutscenes. I do wish the game had enough anime.
Yeah, well, it was the first one, I think, that really used a whole lot of them, and they're like,
I know,
they had to be sparing. The GameCube discs are small. You can't fit a lot of anime on those discs. They're too tiny.
I know. That's why but like, Exilio really spoils me. Like,
yeah.
Exilio is like 85% awesome anime cutscenes.
And when they're not anime cutscenes, they're fully animated cutscenes and not just stock animations throughout.
I know. Oh, it's so good, man.
Which I will say, I do have a soft spot for like a lot of Symphonia stock animations.
I would trade you. I would trade my friend, my darling friend, who I've known for so long now, dear Benjamin. I would trade you for a HD remake of Symphonia in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know. Yeah, I would, because I have seen Kratos' character model in Vesperia, and it's pretty rad.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, and I'd like to see a whole game of that, but it's never gonna happen because God is dead.
Okay, one final thing. I love the bit. There's one cutscene. I don't know exactly what's happening. It's the whole party talking, like in a group. It's one of a joke it took me 3 playthroughs to notice. They're all talking, like in a group, like in a field somewhere. Mm-hmm. Presea finishes talking, and then the rest of the characters are kind of talking, and she's not saying anything, and she just sits down on the ground. Yes. Like I think it's like Lloyd and Regal, and they're like talking.
It's oh wait, am I thinking of Sheena's like weird like
and then Sheena starts dancing too.
That's at the old elf's hut in the other terrible fucking dungeon. But that, you know, like when you're going to get the stuff to go fight Kratos or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like
a pretty. It's not like a dramatic cutscene, but it's a pretty serious discussion they're having.
Yeah, I mean they're talking about things.
And then just like Presea just gets tired and sits down, and Sheena gets impatient and just starts dancing by herself. And it's like, it took me 3 playthroughs to notice that animation, and it's the best.
It's amazing. It's so good. It's the little things, really, that sell it for me, man. Like,
I love it.
I love it. It's so good. I love all of it. I like the part where Rain freaks out about getting in the wash tub.
Yes!
And literally everyone is like, what the fuck just happened?
And then in Japan, she does the kya.
Yeah, oh man. Like,
and you're just like, oh, that's what I needed. I needed that right now.
That was perfect. Like, just A+ at little moments.
Or the, when you get to Tetheala, and the Tethealan characters are like, wait, do Silveranti people sail in bathtubs?
Oh man, yes.
Do they just do that?
Is that just a
These
thing
poor
they do?
savages!
Oh god. And, I'm just like trying to like recall everything else I love about like this stupid game. And there's so many little things. And I think that's really like proof of what makes Symphonia so fun, is that it has so many little details all over the place. You know what I mean?
So many little jokes like that. And they're kind of like evocative of what Tales games are. Tales games are not afraid to have just like really dumb jokes in them.
And they're just fun. Yeah, I mean, like, it's never too self-serious. I mean, it's pretty serious, Abyss. Sometimes, Abyss. Abyss.
But they're not afraid to be like a little goofy and like a really
fun. Yeah,
in a really fun way. And just Symphonia is such a great game. It's such a great beginner game for Tales fans. It's such a solid JRPG. There really was nothing like Symphonia before it came out.
Right, and it just felt so fresh because it's exciting, you know? Like, the battle system is fun. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it's easy to learn but difficult to master.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a fighting game.
Yeah, it's a fighting game with JRPG mechanics, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally playing that as someone who plays a lot of Smash Bros, they handle exactly the same.
Oh, I know. It's great. I just think that's
the reason I set Lloyd up the way I do is because I play him like I play a Smash Brothers character.
Right, I understand. Like, there's just something so satisfying about, Like, and you know me, I'm really obsessed with kind of like getting the combos down just right, and I still don't understand why I'm no good at fighting games, but whatever.
Because you can't do motions.
I can't. It's so hard. But I it's so satisfying in a game, especially in a game like Symphonia, because we'll get to Abyss at some point. But Abyss's ability system is really broken. And by really, I mean it is monumentally broken. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
But in Symphonia, you are limited to a very small number of hits, and that really never changes. You can unlock a few skills that will add an additional physical
your combo goes up to 4 at max.
That's it. But that is it. And then you also have your arbitrary art afterwards. But because of the way it's set up, you can't just, like in Exelia, you can't just, but I love Exelia's system too, we'll get to that eventually. But in Exelia, you can just spam arts until you run out of points, right?
Yeah.
But I love in Symphonia how you can really, you have your 4 hits, you've got your base art, you've got your next level, and then your arcane art. And if you're smart enough, you can chain that together to make as many fucking hits as you want. I love it. When I figure it out, it's so fucking satisfying. You know what I mean?
You always get that one moment, and every time you play the game, like, where you're just like, oh my god, my AI, the planets have aligned, my AI partners are with me, we're comboing, holy shit,
we're doing
this is amazing, I will never beat this combo.
And then you get like 150 hits, and afterwards you're just like, yeah, I need a cigarette.
Yeah, that's the good shit.
That's the good. I gotta go take a cold shower after. You know what I mean? Like, man, it's so good.
There's probably a lot more we can say about this.
We've been talking about this for like an hour and 30 minutes at this point. That's amazing.
And you know, probably when we talk about Abyss, we'll probably be like, oh yeah, by the way, in Symphonia, this happens.
Oh yeah. And we'll have to go back to it, and then we'll do it again with Vesperia, and then we'll do it. I mean, because I love Tales games. If you know anything about me, if you're still listening to this, I love Tales games. I have such a big spot in my heart for them. And this poor bastard who I'm talking to right now is the most patient person on planet Earth for like really just like cramming it down my throat. We'll get to Vesperia.
When we do Vesperia, because
we'll get to the story, because Vesperia was the first.
This one was my first, and I borrowed it from my friend who's like, dude, you gotta play this, and I played it, and I fell in love with it, and I'm like, this is it, I'm in. And I have a story about Vesperia too, like playing it for the first time, which kind of ties into this, so we both kind of have like a really soft spot for that.
Right.
But like, just, Tales games they're so good, they're so fun.
Good.
There's really nothing like them.
It's so true. I mean, you know, there are other games that try to be Final Fantasy, especially with the advent of Persona 3 and 4. There have been games that have been really desperately trying to be Persona. But all of them, you know, there's really and a few games have succeeded. There have been a few genres, some little offshoot games here and there that have succeeded in kind of copying that formula.
Yeah, but I can't think of any other JRPG that does what Symphonia, what Tales games in general do. Yeah. I can't even think of one that like even comes close to it. The only one I can think of that comes kind of close to it, and even then it has a completely different mechanic, is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Yeah.
But like that again has a very different mechanic wrapped around it, and beyond that, like I can't think of any other JRPG that even comes close to the core mechanics of Tales games.
And it leaves you so spoiled afterwards because Tales' battle system is so satisfying. Even like the not great ones, like I'm not like crazy about Zesteria's. It's fun, but it's not like my favorite. Even or like Abyss, which is kind of sluggish, you know. Even the not good ones are better than most other battle like game mechanics. You know, it's so hard to go back to a turn-based system when you've been addicted to Tales games, you know? Like, it's really hard to go back to Persona 4 after you play Tales games, because you're just like, man...
I want to hit the guys now!
I want to hit them now. Why am I waiting? Why are we all standing in line or in a circle and we're attacking the same thing? Why can't it be more crazy? You know, like, man, Tales games spoil you. They do.
They really do.
They're so fun. even when they're at their weakest, and, you know, Tales games, they're just games. Of course they're going to have weak moments. Even when, they're at their weakest, I just really have fun with them.
Exactly.
You know, like, man, Symphonia is so goddamn good.
The moral of the story is play Symphonia. It's really, really, really good.
It's so good. I feel like we didn't...
Don't let our dungeon talk dissuade you. Play them. It's fun.
It's
Pick up the GameCube one if you can. It's the best version.
Yeah, but the PS3 version's a pretty close second.
Yeah, if it's the PS3 version is the easiest to get up and it's acceptable, but the GameCube version is what it was built for.
Sweet, 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Speaking of needing a cigarette.
Yeah, just pick it up. Don't buy the PC version. Don't buy the PS2 version because you can't read it.
Yeah, it's not in English.
Just either the PS3 or the GameCube. If you have a GameCube, you have a Wii, and you can find a copy, pick it up because, like, dude, it's good.
It's good. It's just so good. It's so good.
And then move on to Abyss.
And be miserable, like we will be soon when we eventually talk about it after we talk about other shit.
Yeah.
So are we wrapping it up? I feel like we missed so many things. We'll get back to it when you talk about Abyss.
There's way more we can talk about. We'll get back to that when we inevitably compare Abyss to it.
Of course.
So yeah, I think that'll do it for us. By
the way, I wanted to just say before you get to the special thanks, did you notice how good my voice sounded?
Yeah!
I got a mic, so no more being ashamed of how terrible I sound on podcasts.
So now we're both crystal clear until inevitably one of us forgets to check that the mic is plugged in and we have underwater podcast.
Oh.
It'll happen.
I know. That's what happened at the E3 one.
Yeah. It'll happen again. I guarantee it.
Murphy's Law. But okay, now you can do your special thanks.
Special thanks to Visager for use of our background music. Link to their work in the description. That'll do it for us. Check out, we have a Twitter now, which I'll link to in the bottom. We're going to try to use that a whole lot. We'll be adding announcements and our comments about news. Whenever video game stuff comes in, we'll be commenting about that whenever something big happens. We
will eventually have a proper logo, like a real actual design thing. I have it sitting on a computer somewhere, but my job has eaten my life.
Yeah, once we're squared away on that,
what's the Twitter? What's the Twitter
called? Twitter is, I'll link to it, but it's The Gorge Podcast, @The Gorge Podcast.
Okay, that's easy.
I'll provide a link to it in this description, and all future descriptions will have it. So that'll do it for us. Oh yeah, we also have an email address if you want to send us any messages.
Ooh.
It is thegorgepodcast@gmail.com.
You should tell us games to talk about, and if we've actually played them, we will talk about them. Yeah. Sure, why not?
Post suggestions, ask us questions about things you want us to cover up on. If you're like, hey, why did you talk about this in your review? We'll answer it and we'll bring it up.
Yeah, we'll get to it, man. Talk to us. We love talking to people. Obviously, we love talking because we just talked for an hour and 40 minutes about a 15-year-old video game. Yeah. So I think we're done.
So that'll be it. Fuck Dima.
Fuck Dima. Good night, everybody.
Good night.